Hi guys, it's Kimberly Bell with the Real Estate Office. I'm here today to talk to you about your seller's marketing plan. So another step in our education. Last week we were talking about your marketing plan and how you utilize your marketing plan. Now we're going to add to that. So if you're sitting in front of your computer, you probably want to pause this video in certain increments and do the action immediately so that it gets completed. Sometimes we watch a video and then we're like, okay, I can do that. Or I did that. Excuse me. Or we go, oh, next time I am working with a seller, I'll work on that. Then we have 3 hours to get ready for a seller when it should be taking us 20 minutes. So let's talk about that. You're going to find on your computer, you're going to create a folder for listing packet or seller's packet or seller's information. You can do it in your hard drive by creating a folder in your documents. You can do it in Google Drive by going to the left-hand side in Google Drive, create new. After you hit create new, you choose create a folder and name it so that when you go to save things there, you're able to put things directly into that folder. This works the same with OneDrive. The reason I choose OneDrive and Google Drive over your hard drive is so that you can have them no matter where you're at. So my computer crashed last week and I was working really late on a project, and I went in and I saved it, and I was trying to save it in Google Drive, and for some reason Google Drive wanted me to PDF it and do some different things, and I was just tired and I went to bed. Well, I was on a borrowed computer, and then I was here at the office yesterday looking for that document. I couldn't find it. Now, if I had saved it in Drive like I was trying to do, I would have been able to find it, but instead it was in the Bermuda Triangle and it just couldn't be found. So if I had done it correctly, I wouldn't have had all this struggle yesterday trying to find that document. So what goes in to a listing packet? Of course your CMA, but the CMA is something that you're creating from one of the tools that you either have in your MLS, okay, and we'll go over how to do a CMA maybe in our next class. It might be the next class or the class after. So, of course your CMA goes in there, but you have to be able to market yourself. Let's do that. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is whether your company is using Top Producer or whether your company is using the Flex MLS system, which has documents in there, or whether they're providing you with stuff. One of the documents that you would want to know is our marketing plan for property, to market your property, and that is from the company. So this particular document that our company has is something that you can edit, but you need to be aware that if you're using a company document or a Top Producer document, your presentation may look just like somebody else's. 2 years ago, I had a call from a wife who wanted me to list her property. No, excuse me, a husband that wanted me to list his property. And the wife called somebody else in our company to have her list the property. We both went out and did presentations. If she had used the office presentation, her presentation would have looked identical to mine. So sometimes you're competing inner office, sometimes you're competing across lines. Say that if you work for a franchise and they have lots of offices, everybody's using the same thing. I want you, and I challenge you to take what I'm giving you and make it unique to you. Maybe you like the words. Take the words, they're unbranded, take the words and use them to create your very own seller's packet. Don't want to? You don't ever feel like you're going to be competing against me because we work in different markets? I'm more than happy for you to take this, make it your own, and sign it as your own. But know that, I don't want you to brand it. It is unbranded so that we can all use it. Okay? So this is just the marketing plan. It's about 6 pages long. It talks about this, that our past performance guarantees our future. Talks about the office. Talks about what transactions we're doing, that we're doing professional photography. It talks about the internet and how the internet has an impact on each and every listing and how we present ourselves on the internet. It then talks about the influence of their sale and how the agent, the real estate agent, is the #1 influence of their sale next to the market. So how important choosing an agent is. So I take this, and then I take my business card, and on page 2, I sign it, and I attach my business card. Okay? So that's the first thing that I use. So then after I talk about how our company is going to help you, I then go in hang on a minute, I got these little topsy-turvy. Well, goodness gracious. There's the CMA. I then go in and make sure that I have my marketing plan. So my marketing plan is the next thing that I attach. What a pain. I don't know where it went, but I know I have it. So I'm going to attach my marketing plan. It's going to be here. We're going to take the marketing plan, and then that's the next thing. And mine says marketing plan by Kimberly. And then it goes down what my objective is, which is what we went over last week, what my plan is, and what I'm going to do to get them to that closing table. Okay, I'm telling them these things, but the biggest thing is that before I tell them what I'm going to do for them, I want to ask what they want. So I have a seller's information sheet that I fill out. So I go in, I talk to them about their property, I tour the property, and then I ask for permission. Do I have permission to open doors? Do I have permission to talk openly about their property with them? I ask them, then I start asking them questions like, what 2 things sold you on your home when you bought this home? I write down, those are great. Oh, those are great features. You're right. The crown molding in here is beautiful. How much would you like to sell your home for? Understand, I've already come up with a number that I have, but I want to make sure that you're comfortable with it. Have you done any updates to the house? What do you owe on your property? What are you looking for in an agent? So that when I go into the seller's market plan that I'm about to present, that I've already shown you, when I start presenting that, I'm going to highlight these items. The items that they're telling me, I'm going to go, hey, we do this, which is what you're asking for in an agent. You want an agent that's going to communicate. Here, we do this. When you want an agent that is going to do more than just put a sign in the yard, we do this. So you ask those questions so that you don't need a script. Your script is your seller's packet and your marketing plan. So you do those things. Then you talk to them about them, and it should directly relate to your information that you're doing here. So one of the things that they're going to want you to do is a seller's net proceeds sheet. I do that upon a listing appointment, or if I come over and I look at their house, and then I want them to come in because I want to know that they're invested in it too. I would go over the seller's net proceed at that time. Seller's net proceed. This one has for conventional VA, FHA, and cash. and we go over each scenario. In addition to that, you might have any variation of these items in your packet when you put it together. You could have a seller's checklist, which I think I got from one of our agents in the office. Seller's tips. It just has some cute little stuff on it. From the Tennessee Association of Realtors, when selling your home. It talks about agency, what is agency, and what types of agencies there is in Tennessee. There's also I talked to them about utilities. If it's a listing that's in the area, sometimes the utilities might vary. So I have a utility questionnaire telling them that I'm going to put it in a book and I want to fill this out, take a picture of it, leave them with this, and then I will, of course, come back to the office and type it for their book. For Oak Ridge, it would look like this. It's already typed. Utility contact information, already typed. So the next thing that might be in my seller's packet would be their CMA. So my CMA looks like this. I went out and took a picture of this particular property, and somebody had said, I want stuff with graphs. Well, when's the last time you did a CMA in Flex? Or maybe you don't want your CMA to look like everybody else's. Use RPR. RPR is a great tool that is given to us for free by NAR. So go into your account at the National Association of Realtors and use RPR. That's, just make it your own. What is it? So the cool thing about the CMA that we have in our Flex MLS is that it does do mapping. So it maps all of the properties. Right there it shows you where all the properties that you're using to compare it to. It gives it a subject analysis. Okay? But then in addition to that, it also has these wonderful graphs. Okay? It talks about pricing and where you should price it. So here's these wonderful graphs that make your presentation look very professional. Okay, so we talk a little bit about that. I always provide them with their tax record, so that they know kind of what their information is showing. Then I have gone in and customized a product that NAR has given us for free. It's called the Guidebook for Sellers, and it has all these cool checklists: how to make your home better for showing, navigating a short sale, documents that they'll need for the transaction. And then sometimes what I do is, because I love this book so much, I have them as standalone documents, and then I take down to the bottom and I make it a standalone document, so that when we get to the point of a different point in the transaction, there's different things for different points in the transaction in here, and I may send them a flyer on their own saying, hey, we're getting ready to the point of where we're getting ready to negotiate repairs. There's a document on here on negotiating repairs, and there's a document in here on negotiating at the very beginning, how to set your house up with curb appeal. Can you answer yes to all these questions? Well, if they're getting ready to put their house on the market, I might give them just the curb appeal flyer for them to start. I give them this book up front, okay, so that they can do that. So how do I present all this information and make it look organized and not just a hodgepodge? Based on if it's a client you decide how much information you need to take with you. If it's a client that you have never met and you know that you're competing for, you're going to want to take your time to gather seller information. I think that you should give everybody top-notch quality presentations no matter what. But I think that it'll vary based on the client and the client's needs. So in this office, and I know many offices across the United States when I've worked in other states, they do something similar. We have a binding machine here. So we decide how many things we want to bind. So we take it and we put it in a cover, put it in the machine, and it binds it right along the edge, just like a binding company. And we bind them into books so that maybe you wanted the guidebook to look just like a book. You're going to take it, you're going to put it in one of those covers, and you're going to set it down in the machine. It's going to bind it, and off you go. So I have, in my world, I have this and my seller's marketing plan put together in those plastic sheets. I would not want to take something like a net proceed and put that in a bound book, because that's a sheet that you're going to slide back and forth across the table. You want to make sure that it's fluid and that it's not in one of those bound books, because that's something that's going to be standalone. In addition to that, you may want, I sometimes bind my CMAs. That makes it a nice presentation. You just don't want everything bound together. Your seller's information, that's notes for your file, so you're bringing it back with you. You don't want that seller's information sheet in that bound group. So sometimes I take and I use folders to put the bound, the separate sheets in here, and then maybe staple a business card to the front of it. If it's a buyer, because sometimes I use these for buyers, I'm going to include a map that's already been branded and put a map inside this folder as well. Hopefully you have an idea. So we're going to take all these documents. I'm going to email you a bunch of stuff. I would hope that you would share back with me some of the things that you use that could definitely improve maybe mine or someone else's in the office, and share some of the things that maybe you wouldn't feel hurt if somebody used it. Just helping each other, making sure that we continue to be a family. But of course, we want it to be something that doesn't brand you as unique. The biggest branding tool you have is your marketing plan. Your marketing plan is what your script should be. I hear so many people, especially new agents, do you have a script for me for going and talking to my sellers? Well, it's your marketing plan. You should have your marketing plan, and you should have the company marketing plan, and you should go over the marketing plan, and then that's your script. And then at the very end, you say, this is what I'm doing for you. I've already set up a transaction for you for all of your documents. All we have to do is pop in that exact price that I've recommended for you to list your property at. And then they say, okay, and you hit send, or you could have your laptop there, and then they're able to sign right there on your computer. So again, being paperless with all this paper, one of the things that I like to do if I am trying hard to be paperless, to take all of these and I create them into a slideshow. The biggest problem I have with that is that I'm not leaving anything behind as evidence to that seller that I've been there. And sometimes then you get forgotten about. You want to make sure that they have something in hand to remember you by. So that if they are not going to sign on the dotted line that day, that you schedule a follow-up and make it fast. You want to schedule your follow-up within, I would say, 24 hours. And if they're not signing on the dotted line at their house, you want to make that follow-up be in office. You want to make sure that they have skin in the game. So those are my recommendations with this particular system. Hopefully this is helpful, get you where you need to be. I am going to provide some attachments here for you to add into your folder that you've already created, because you paused this way back at the very beginning and created that folder wherever your stuff was going to go. Then you're going to look at these documents, you're going to take them and you're going to put them in that folder. The biggest thing is that some of these documents are in doc, D-O-C-X, and some of them are in PDF. The PDF ones, obviously, you're going to have to have a PDF editor to do that, but the .docx, you can edit. Make sure that you edit them and make them your own, because maybe throughout the document you might find my identification information. So you want to make sure that you're identifying it with you and what you're doing, where you're at, okay? If you have questions, feel free to reach out. If there's a document that you want to use and you think, should I or should I not use it, just give me a shout. Let me look at it and see if it's something worth looking at. This is Kimberly Bell with the Real Estate Office. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Work hard on getting your seller's packets put together.